Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Nomifactory. It's been a while, again. As you can see, we're setting up Ender Air, which, if we look at JI, we need, in order to get stuff like Tritium, Radon, and out of it for free, we need to first make it into liquid Ender Air, which is, it's 200,000 millibuckets. It's a lot. But for now, everything we need is deuterium, which we can simply get by centrifuging it in its normal version. But why exactly do we need deuterium? Well, I think it's finally we get into the Microverse, which is a neat little system of Nomi where using these weird crafting systems, you get a ship, and then into a multi-block you send it with some other goodies, and you get a bunch of ores, or in this case stellar creation data, which you use for the universe creation of the heart universe, and then blah 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 blah, late game stuff. And over here back at our base, using the ender tank, we're sending all that ender air into some HV centrifuges, which are slow, yes, at 80 seconds each, but they give us the deuterium we need, plus some nitrogen dioxide, which if we want, we can make nitric acid, which is used for things like aqua regia, nitration mixture, PGS stuff. However, as I said, our main thing is deuterium. Right, but with deuterium out of the way, well, we have three choices here. Well, the first was moon dust, obviously, which was going to be kind of like an early source for deuterium, seeing as it's only LV. However, that only gives us 100 millibuckets of deuterium, and it was also used for quantum flux if you, for some reason, don't want to do this recipe. But anyway, aside from these two, here we have the small microverse projector. A multi-block which is quite goofy in my opinion. It's quite goofy looking in my opinion. But this is what's going to allow us to send our little toy ships into worlds to get us some fancy ores. Even though, we already visited the moon and have way too much of an ore backlog, as you can see here. But anyway, if we look into these things, everything we pretty much have or can make, except these microverse projector casings, which are made of microversium. Well, how do we make microversium? Through an EBF, of course, using some steel, some redstone, some glowstone, and some deuterium. Right, so let's build an EBF. Or well, let's get the materials for an EBF. Right, well, all this in my inventory should be enough to make 2 EBFs, or well, it's enough for one, but I'll leave the second one. And actually, I just realized I forgot to pick up the coils, which we're going to be running at Canthal. Right, there we go. There's our EBF. And you see, we can put these extra parts back. We're just going to run some 8x, because it's kind of what I had at the time. And we can use good old tape. But anyway, well, what's an EBF if, we're not actually running anything with it? Let's get 2 interfaces, which I had already crafted, thankfully. Come down here. Here's going to be our thing. Here's going to be our normal interface. We're going to have 3 item conduits. Here we can send our deuterium. And here we're going to have our steel ingot, our glowstone, and our redstone. And I forgot to grab some item filters, so I went and crafted some. So here we're going to do redstone, here we're going to do glowstone, and here's where our steel is going to go. And all that's left should be to connect this all to both power and AE2. And it should be running. No. Oh, because it's filling the input buses. Okay. Does this need a circuit? No. That's steel. That's glowstone. That's redstone. What am I missing? Oh, right. It's now, if we come back over here, we can see that it's being made. However, I really don't want this to go into our drives. We can get the microversium and drag it here. And now in one of these drawers, there we go. There's our first piece of microversium, and we could just lock it. And I'm going to level limit the EBF. So we're going to get this, and we're going to emit when we're below 512. And now we just need to set the machine controller to inverted. And there we go. Now we can hatch it up. And we have a working microversium EBF, which will slowly and surely make us the microversium that we need to make the giant multi-block. But where are we going to place it? Well, we're going to place it here. Where here? I don't know. Probably somewhere on the right or left. Because this is where I plan on having all the multi-blocks later on. But anyway, while all that microversium is made, we still have plenty to do, seeing as if we head back to the quest, there's quite the amount of things, even if, we already have most of them. So first of all, let's get our hatches. Well, here we already have an input and our input hatch. Yeah, here we have our input bus and hatch. Now for output, on the other hand, it wants us to make an HV output hatch because, if we look over here, that is quite the amount of ores. But there's our input bus. We can simply screwdriver to make it output. We're going to need an HV energy hatch, so we're going to need another HV. We're going to need another muffler. And while we're at it, let's grab our things for our hatch. I think we're gonna need some more silver. Yeah. Let's get the rest of the stuff then. So we're going to need a diamond block, chiseled to what? To just purple space. Purple space. I'm going to need some tempered glass. I made quite a bit of it. So there's the 3. We're going to need maintenance and muffler. Maintenance, I do not have any more, but I can request some LV holes. Alright, and then comes the 3 things. Great machine casings, the actual projector itself, and all these casings. The casings itself aren't terrible, but not sure why I had that. And actually, these crates aren't that bad either. We have all this stuff on autocraft, so we could just click a bunch of buttons on AE2 and let the computer do the work in every sense of the word. Alright, our silver wire should have finished. Same with our gold cable. And what we're going to do is we're going to need a cell of sodium potassium, which I haven't put a storage bus yet on. Probably should, but oh well. And once it finishes its coils, we can put it there with a whole the LPICs and gold cable alongside the sodium potassium, and that gets our energy hatch. Yep, so here we go. There's our HV energy hatch. We should be able to make the great machine casings. Our muffler is done. Our LV holes should be simple as throwing them in with circuit 1 to get our maintenance hatches. Having extra never hurts. Alright, but anyway, here comes the big parts. The actual controller and the casings. But we need this computer monitor, which I've made already for the central monitor that's on the other side that I've probably shown for a bit. So we're going to get a glass pane, some aluminum foil, and a circuit and fine copper wire. Okay, that's not bad. It was only 1, right? Yep. Get ourselves the computer's monitor, and then all that microversium, we're going to just wrench all of it, which only gets us 10 casings, so. But it should allow us to at least get the microverse projector. You know what, while we're at it, since we're going to be waiting on the ingot, let's just make our MV input hatch, since that's what the quest wants. There we go, there's our input hatch. And that's about everything, except obviously the rest of the casings, seeing as we only have 6. But you know what? Let's start building it. Now, where to exactly place it? I'm not sure. Kind of want it to be visible through these interestingly shaped windows, though. So I'll put them back here for now. Actually, you know what? No, I'll put the small ones up first. And well, that's about all we got right now, which looks supremely goofy. And I just realized I put block space here, and the grate casing goes here. I mean, that doesn't make it look any less goofy, though we can start routing power and stuff to it. So back to our power, which need an HV hole. Let's make it a 16x and just have like a long line for our microverse projectors. Because ideally I want one for the T1s, one for T2s, 3s. And I think at tier 4 is when you go to medium. Yeah, you go to the medium one, so it's only up to tier 3. Actually, in that case, let's only do 8 then. Either we're going to need a lot of red and gold wire. Alright, well, that's our energy, and then for our microversium, this should be more than enough. And now we just need to pick up some other ones for the quest. And there we go. Our very first portable universe, which we immediately tape up, because why wouldn't we? And I completely forgot both the cable and the interfaces and stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's order up some more patterns. Let's get this tier 1 up and going. Right, well, that was a lot of patterns. And now, just out of curiosity, can we? Double steel plates. I knew I had forgotten something. And then for manganese phosphide, yeah, we don't have enough. So I'm gonna have to mix up some up. It's a lot of phosphate. All of it. Copper. Circuit 4. Now let's get this actually hooked up to power first. Five, 6, 7, 8. I don't need a bit more, but for now this should be good enough. Because assuming we place them somewhat tightly, we can have another one like be right here. Actually, I'll just place all these hatches in the bottom for the sake of ease of AE. Let's place them here. So that's going to be our input, that's be our output, and here's our other input. Should form, and then I'll keep this area clear. Right, and now we have some microverse casings that we can, I guess, dedicate to putting here. Sure. And then some extra lathe, which we can just put back in our bag and go back to staring at AE2s. Seeing as a lot of stuff that we have to do is very much so dependent on what we have inside AE2. this is with nitrogen, right? Yep. We can kind of just send it all into our NitroMeBF because that's where I've been sending everything. Sure, I guess we can put it over here. Either way, with all of that, let's see, tier 1. I'm missing some manganese phosphide. Just needed 4, so should get, yep. And now we should be able to request our first T1. Thankfully, it's using our 6 coprocessor CPU. And yeah, look at it go. It's certainly doing things. Alright, we still need the actual logic to it, so we can actually, you know, use it. I'm probably just gonna have the same thing as I do for EBFs, where it's this. I guess I'll put here, and then I'll put another interface here, which I don't have, so I'll go request one. While we do that, we can hook it up. There's power, Fluix. And for running power, I'd rather have it be like straight lines of stuff, so. And then we can just simply name these, so it's going to be Ethereum. There we go. And then yeah, simply name it T1 Microverse, because this is the one we're going to be using exclusively for tier 1 missions. And as you can see, our tier 1 is done. It doesn't seem like we're getting a quest for it, because it wants us to make quantum flux as well. Oh well, that's not an issue. And with those pulsating crystals, alongside some extraterrestrial matter, we can get our quantum flux. And then our quest for the tier 1 microminer. First foray into the microverse. Alright, let's get our first mission going. So what we're going to do is something a lot of people are probably going to do. So we're going to get our paper. I'm going to name it tier 1. Tier 1 lithium, if I can spell. What we're going to do is we're going to create a like a dummy pattern. We're going to get one tier 1. What is it? 1 quantum flux, I want to say. Yes, 1 quantum flux. And a singular chest, which there you go. And so we can put this all back in our inventory. And then if we go over here to tier 1 microverse, if we click requestable, we can click next, and we can just send those. Y'all can see over here I've set up a little wall of ores so that everything we get out of this first mission won't go into our system and clog it. So actually we're going to hide it, and actually just not hide it in general. We're just going to not let it run, or not give it an interface. So anyway, we can hit next, and if we run over here, did I forget to give it fluid? I gave it deuterium instead of rocket fuel. Oh no. Which I don't think has a storage bus either. Alright, let me go fix this real quick. But it should be running. Yep, 25 seconds. Should probably overclock this to EV, because that way it's only around 13 seconds, 12 seconds. I don't know if it rounds up or floors the decimal. There's our bounty of stuff. in which we can now place our interface back onto. And here we can kind of filter the stuff we're getting from it. And now we can connect it. Let's give it bidirectional, but now you're going to have 4,000 priority, which means that it's going to try to throw items in here before it goes anywhere else into the system. With that out of the way, let's get into the tier 2. And I'm actually probably going to need way more patterns. Forgot I set this. Let's see, where is it? Should be cutting wafers. All right, let's go down the rabbit hole. So tier 2. Okay, so first of all, it's an advanced craft, and I have my tables over here. Probably wasn't the best place to put them in, but I have an idea of what we can do. Right here. And then for the tier 2, we're going to need the guidance system. We're going to need 6 double titanium plates, 2 LV field generators, 2 mining lasers, 3 electrical something thrusters, stainless steel crate, an advanced combustion generator, I think it was, a micro miner engine core, miner core, and that should be about it. We can simply put the pattern here. We're going to name it 5x5 crafting recipes, since we do not have packaged auto yet. And now if we look at tier 2, well, of course we're missing a bunch of stuff, but it's why we were getting a lot more HVs. So now we can make some more patterns. Right. And with these patterns, we can make another montage. Actually, that wasn't much of a... That wasn't really much of a... Yeah, we didn't really have many things missing. And now for this engine core, we do need an HV alloy smelter, which I don't think we've made, at least not for like on-demand stuff. Right, and now we should just need an HV machine hull, yet another interface, TM. Alright, well there's that. And as terrible of an idea as it is, let's do some transformer shenanigans. Oh, it's actually easy. Right, HV hull, some copper wire. Right. I'm gonna need that interface. Yeah, this whole little dance of stuff has to go. For now, you are banished to no place. Oh, it's actually a lot of phosphorus. You know what? I'm gonna keep this in here. Mass alloy smelter. Let's give it an AE connection. Let's name it alloy smelter HV. And here we can put our pattern of the thing. And these extra machines, I have no idea what I will do with them, especially this rock breaker. I will just kind of put y'all in here for now. if we come over here and look up tier 2, we are missing electrum rods and titanium plates. How do I not have titanium plates? I've been in EV for like what seems years by now. I'm going to need some, not engineering, some calculation processors, and an extra interface again. This time I need it for some pattern expansion cards. Pattern expansion, we can get these two, go to our lathe, and there you go. Now if you're curious as to why we're kind of doing Microverse finally after putting it off for so long, in the stream we set up epoxy, which was that giant line of large chemical reactors, and also had us made this large steel boiler, this extra pyrolysis oven, this extractor for fish oil, this unpackager for hydroxide, these two things of bending machines for electrum foil and gold foil, and probably some other things I don't know, alongside this fluid solidifier, which gets us our actual epoxy resin sheets. And then using the same chain we did for the plastic circuit boards, here we have advanced circuit boards, which if we look over here, using this recipe, well, using normal SMDs, but basically this recipe, gets us a single step HV circuits, which are a lot easier than, you know, having to go through this, and then from here craft it up again, and to workstations, and then all the way to the mainframe. But if you want more specific reasoning, out of the tier 2 micro miner, we get radium salt, which you can electrolyze into radon, and that's the main thing which we need for quantumize, as well as quantum stars and some other stuff, especially qubits, which come in handy later. What we want is these quantumize, as these quantumize enable us to get the EV sensor and emitters and whatnot, which I think we need for something. What did we need random for? Oh yeah, we need it for the emitter, which of course we need for the circuit assembler, and that's what opens up the nano circuits. With those patterns set up, we should be able to just request our tier 2. We're gonna let this run, because I just realized that in order to even run this, we need EV power. And I wouldn't be surprised if the tier 3 is IV. Oh no, it's EV as well. Okay, so I'm probably just gonna replace everything with EV hatches. But I haven't actually made any of this, seeing as we need an EV assembler, which I equally haven't made. But you know what? Here in the Myolitz channel, we're lazy, so we're just gonna double HV hatch. And our HV energy hatch should appear anytime soon, which we're immediately going to put into practice by breaking you. There we go. Now this is running at EV, which should cut down our recipe time and also allows us to run our tier 2 microminers through this. But anyway, what's left? Long stainless steel rods. Oh no, I forgot to even set the thing correctly. But as you can see, it's just waiting for the tier 2. But it already spat out all the ingredients here. So we just come over here. Titanium double plates. And the tier 2 microminer. Nice. And of course we're going to repeat what we did with our tier 1, where we're going to get some paper. And we're going to name it tier 2 radon. And now in our pattern, it's going to be the tier 2, and then 2 quantum flux. We can send it. It's now running, which is a 30-second recipe, which we can come back to being completely done, and I forgot to even do the thing. All right, so there's going to be some ores in our system. So that's a bit of ore. We can throw away what we don't need. And I forgot that this gives you a bunch of random end ore, which I equally do not need. However, the most important one at the moment, which actually I would just throw back away here, is going to be this radium salt, which we can put over here. However, the most important one at the moment, which actually I would just throw back away here, is going to be this radium salt, which we can put over here. So of course we're going to need radon, which is going to need an EV. Oh, Lord. It seems we're going to need an EV energy converter. How fast is it? I'm curious. 10 seconds, bam, done, 1 amp. And then I also need to set some recipes, such as the actual EV pole. And this should be our energy converter. However, for our electrolyzer, I don't have one though. Is it just bugged? I think it is, yeah. I'm going to need 2 workstations, so that's gonna have to take a while. However, the rest of the stuff is just another hole. And then I'm probably just going to use some extra steel wire. Since, you know, it's cheap, we have a lot of steel. What I don't have is a lot of patience, though. And let's get our 1x steel cable. For our electrolyzer, it's still running through all that. But let's see if I can find a space for it in this vast hall of just single-spaced setups. I can't seem to find a spot for it here. I guess I could do it like here, but there's already the drawer, and I'd rather keep like that 2 space gap. So you know what? We'll put it up here. We run the steel cable, connect it. Here, let's just have it be like in an Ender IO tank because it's simpler. And then it's for AE2. Okay. Oh, didn't have to do that. Okay. Here we can just ride it all the way up. And then for power, it's probably going to be more of the same. It's just kind of like a little trashy setup I had for lubricant. And that's going to be that. And then here I can just have like an interface with a conveyor or something. I don't know. Are our workstations done? They are. Did I ever reconnect this? No. Whack. An electrolyzer. Let's grab 2 conveyors. Here you're going to be on export. Here you're going to be on import. Are going to be the radium salt. We're also going to need a fluid storage bus, which means another interface. At this point, I feel like I should just passive interfaces. I'm not going to do that in case anyone comments, but you know. I feel like at this point that's more of a convenience thing for me with anything. Oh, just passive interfaces. But I don't know. There's our thing. Can go up here. And I forgot to set fluid output. Oh. And there we have it. There's radon. Well, that'll be it for today's episode. I thank you all for watching and hope to see you soon. Probably in this stream, but soon. Peace.